All right, 2022 head-to-head. Look at the boxing gloves, they are out. We've got the Ego Select Cut XP. This came out last year. This is their top of the line. I don't know if they're coming out with a new model this year. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be next year. But we've got this new Milwaukee 36 volt M18 fuel mower, okay? What's the difference between a $1,000 mower and an $800 mower? I really don't know. What brand should you go with, right? Ego's got tons of tools that use their batteries, and Milwaukee does also. You'll be very surprised. We're going to compare everything with this head-to-head. We're going to do mower features, cut quality, bag cut, mulch cut, side discharge. But can both of these push through a heavy load? Well, let's find out. Hi, it's Al from techmadeezy with a real quick message. I just want to let you know the video you're about to watch is not sponsored. We went out and bought the products ourselves. So, if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up. It definitely helps. Share our video. And lastly, we hope you subscribe to our channel and become a part of the family. Thank you. All right, we want to be upfront with you and tell you what we're going to be covering. So take a look at the screen, hit pause, but we're going to continue with this head-to-head. Let's cover some basics on these two guys. Let's start off with the Milwaukee. So the Milwaukee sells for $999 at Home Depot. All right, the model number is 2823-2. All right, it does come with a 3-year warranty on the mower and on the battery. All right, and the weight with the battery comes in at 85 pounds. Now, on the Ego, this is the LM2156sp for self-propelled. This sells for $7.99 on Amazon, Ace, and Lowe's. Okay, you do get a 5-year warranty on the mower and a 5-year on the battery, but you need to make sure you register the battery or you don't get a 5-year. The weight is actually lighter with a 10 amp hour battery. You're talking 62 pounds with a 10 amp battery. So this is a little lighter. Now the reason why the Milwaukee is heavier is because it actually has a steel deck. And we'll talk more about that later. We'll take a close look. All right. So that's one. Number two, both of these machines mulch, they bag, and they do rear side discharge. Okay. We'll show you that. The side discharge actually goes in the back on both of these machines. Now, I'm not going to talk long about this, but I'm going to bring up a slide so you can actually see the statements that both of these companies make. So as you can see on the left side, Ego actually touts 60 plus tools that use that same 56 volt battery. And that is huge. And Ego doesn't make any other battery other than 56 volt. Now, Milwaukee touts 200 plus tools. That's pretty impressive. Now, I do believe it is more on the tool side. I have not looked into their lawn tool section. I'm pretty sure they have a bunch, to be honest with you. This is our first Milwaukee that we're reviewing. But pretty impressive, right? 60 tools for Ego, 200 that you can use on Milwaukee. Again, something to think about when you make your choice on what you're going to go with. I've seen many people make the mistake of owning 3 different platforms and regretting it because they now have 3 different batteries. Now we're going to take some time and really talk about what's included with these guys here. So we're going to start off with the chargers and the batteries, okay? So Milwaukee has a dual charger, and they say this is a rapid charger. All right, I don't know the wattage. I'll have to check it later on. And what I'll do is, after we check it, we'll put a little note on the corner there so you can see how much wattage this thing uses to charge one battery. And we'll also put the number up for 2 batteries as well. How many watts does it use? Because this is their rapid charger. I don't believe they make a faster one. Now, their batteries, and by the way, their charger, as you could see, you've got, you know, just a red and green light in the corner. You do have fans, which is nice. The battery is their red lithium battery. This is a high output 12 amp hour battery. Now, if you look at the battery, it does have a fuel gauge. All right, so you'll be able to see, and I don't know if I have to press it or whatnot. I don't have them turning on, but all right. But they do have 25, 50, 75, and 100. Now, one thing you're going to see about the Mower is it actually has a fuel gauge on it. I'll talk about that later. I like that. That's a really nice feature. But these batteries sell for $250, just so you'll know. And you have to have 2 of them in the Mower in order for it to work, because these are 18-volt batteries, so you need 2 for a 36-volt mower. All right, so $250 times 2, you gotta have 2. Keep that in mind, okay? Now let's take a look at the Ego. So the Ego's got a 700-watt charger, okay? And, you get, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So you get one more bar on the fuel, to show you where your battery's at. Now, this charger also has a feature. It's a smart feature. So if you're charging your batteries and you're sitting down on the couch and you're drinking a soda or a beer, whatever you like, well, you can actually be on your phone checking your battery to see your charge status. It's smart enough to also send an alert to your phone to say that your battery is charged. I'll pull up a little video showing you that capability real quick so you can see that. Continuing on with the battery, so Ego's 10 amp hour battery is a $500 battery. So think about that. This same battery is the same cost as the Milwaukee batteries when you need 2 of them. Okay, in this case you only need 1, and you only have 1 spot on the mower. But this is a 10 amp hour battery, as you can see here. It is a 56 volt, and the mower is 56 volt. So you only need 1. Again, $500, and they use a technology called Keep Cool technology, and they use an arc system to keep their batteries really cool. They also have a really smart battery. I don't know if this works with Milwaukee. I can't confirm, but I will tell you, we'll put the video in the description, but these will self-discharge if you leave them around, and especially fully charged. You might wake up one morning and see your battery lighting up in red, and that's because they're smart batteries, and they will self-discharge to maintain themselves, because you can damage batteries by leaving them fully charged, laying around for months at end. So we will put a link in the description on that for you to check that out. But that's batteries and chargers. Now, continuing on with what's included, Milwaukee gives you a mower blade, a standard mower blade on their machine there. It's just kind of like a mulching gator blade, all right? And the thing that Ego does is Ego actually gives you 3 blades to choose from. Now, I'll show you later on when I pull up the deck. This Ego has the mulching blade already installed, and it's a dual blade system. So it's got a top blade and a bottom blade that's interchangeable. So my bottom blade on here right now is my mulching blade. But as you can see here, they also give you an extended runtime blade. All right. Now, this blade won't use as much battery, and that's what that means. And then they give you a high lift blade. All right. As you can see here, this blade acts like a vacuum. Blade's probably about $30 if I'm not mistaken. So you do get 3 blades that Ego gives you in the price, and it is a dual blade system as well. Now, let's also talk about the mulch plug. So you do get a mulch plug on the Ego, all right? And you do get a rear side discharger. We're going to show you what that looks like later on when we install it. It's pretty simple. And here, Milwaukee does the same thing. So they've got your mulch plug, and they've got a rear side discharge. Now, this is pretty interesting. You know, we'll show you. I like the way it stays within the body of the mower too, so that's pretty cool. Now, let's also talk about the bagger. So you do get a nice bagger. You have to put together the Milwaukee bagger, and the bushel capacity is 2 bushels, okay? So that's pretty decent. And again, we're going to show you what that looks like put on, and we're going to show you that they did some things to make it easy to put on. And Ego does the same thing. So 2 bushels on the Ego bagger. Now let's talk about the motor, right? We're not talking about the cell Propel motor. We're talking about the motor in these 2 beasts. Start off with the Ego. The Ego is a 56 volt system, right? It's got 8.3 foot-pounds of torque, and the motor is a 1200 watt motor, okay? Now in the Milwaukee, this is a 36 volt system with a motor that can go to 10 foot-pounds of torque. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see if I can even tell the difference. And the wattage isn't mentioned, all right? But that's pretty cool. They both are rear wheel, right? For cell Propel, they are rear wheel, so that's what they're going to do. The decks, we're going to go ahead and turn these upside down. We're going to take some measurements. We'll take a close look at the deck. So let's take a moment and look at blades for a minute. We'll look at decks and we'll look at blades, okay? So when we look at Ego, we have, and we're talking blade at this point, right? Because isn't that the most important thing? So with Ego, if you measure the blade, all right, you get a 20-inch blade. All right, that's, and let me move this closer so you can see. You know, you're getting a 20-inch blade. All right. Now with Milwaukee, you're actually getting a 21-inch blade. So measure from corner to corner. You go across, and hopefully you can see that based off where the blade is, you're getting a 21-inch blade. Now something I started looking at when you think about how low you can go with a mower. So if I look at the actual deck and I look at the blade, one thing I noticed about the Milwaukee, and very similar with the Ego, is the blade is, you know, to the deck is probably 3/4 of an inch, right? So you got 3/4 of an inch, you know, where your deck is versus where your blade is. So it's something good to know, especially for folks that want to get down, you know, definitely a little bit further. Now, I don't know why they put this lip on here, because, you know, I don't know if that's going to affect cut quality. You know what I mean? It would have been nice if it was completely open so the grass blades could get in all the way around, taking advantage of 21 inches. Now, if I measure the same measurement with Ego, it's a little less, right? They don't have that, you know, rim, first of all, but they are probably about a 1/2 inch before you get to the bottom of the deck. So a 1/2 inch here, 3/4 of an inch there, right? 21-inch blade here, and, you know, a 20-inch blade here. As you can see, I use this, huh? A lot of dirt that keep on cleaning and sharpening your blades, so that's super important too. Now, if you look at deck efficiency, we're going to come back, we're going to put the mulch plugs in and look at deck efficiency. Now, when we look at deck efficiency, obviously this is a brand new mower. So, you know, really, when you think about your mulch, right, and how it gets cut up and flies around the deck and then becomes food to your lawn, you know, pretty good job. I mean, they've got, you know, some gapping here. You're going to get some clippings caught up in there. Same thing here, but that's your mulch plug, so it's going to do it. Now, it is kind of gravity's pulling it down a little bit, I would think, because the mower's in the upright position, but pretty smooth, you know. They thought about that. Pretty smooth. So, not bad. Now, when we look at Ego, you know, again, you know, these holes where the screws are, I wish they were closed. I wish there was like a snap-in plate that you can take off. Because again, I think, you know, everything will pertain to, you know, deck efficiency and mulching, specifically if you mulch, right? You know, when you're mulching, again, you're cutting the grass in small pieces and leaving it on your lawn, so it's food for the lawn, okay? So just something to look at. Now let's take a moment and just, you know, look at the bottom of the mower. Now, you know, this is, you know, last year's model. I use it. You could see the self-propel motor back here. Okay. Again, closed up pretty good. Really no major issues with any extra wiring hanging around. I always look at that. So pretty good job. Now, if we look at the Milwaukee, here's your self-propel motor. Nice and encased, which is good. And if we can just look in there, we've got some wiring here. So you've got wiring here, and then I do believe you've got some additional wiring in the back there, as you can see. So some wires are exposed a little bit, but hopefully that won't make a difference long term. Pretty good though. Now, I will point out, you know, the same thing I pointed out about the Milwaukee, right? You know, again, you know, the mulch plug will obviously have some grass jam up in certain places. You know, that's just going to happen. Now, this is a polycarbonate deck, okay? This is a 15 gauge steel stamped deck. So I thought I'd mention that as well. Both of these guys have some helpful handles when you need to lift these mowers. If you look at the Milwaukee, you've got a beefy handle back here. You've got another handle over here. Now, one thing I like is when it is closed, I'll show you this for a second. When it is closed, you can actually grab both of them. You know, because obviously the handle is overextended, right? So you've got room here, and you can grab both of these guys and lift the mower up. Ego has handles also. So they've got one here, and they've got one here. Now, when the mower's closed, you know, it can be a little difficult to actually reach in, but you can do it. And grab this handle and this handle to lift this up and throw it in your truck bed. So I just thought I'd show you that. And again, you know, if space is an issue, you could see that, you know, the extra 12 inches on this guy here might be a reason why you might want to make a decision. That's up to you. The handle collapses with the Ego. It doesn't with the Milwaukee. Okay, so we've got the Milwaukee on the lowest setting, number 1. This is supposed to be a 1-inch cut. It's definitely not a 1-inch cut because, yeah, if you measured it like this, you'd be like, oh, it's going to be a 1-inch cut. But the blade, as you could see before, is, you know, about just a little higher. So the blade, if I could tell you, because I've got it here with me, you know, you're about almost 1.5 inches, maybe a little shy of 1.5 inches before you're cutting grass, okay? So, you know, just giving you a little extra detail because that blade is pushed into the frame like we showed before, all right? And, you know, some people want to know how low, okay? And you know, obviously when you go all the way up to 7, and we'll bring this up, you know, to 7, you know, you're at 4 inches, right? So we're not going to measure all of the ones here, but you're a little higher than 4 inches on your cut. Okay, you're just yeah, I don't know. That could be 4 inches, to be honest with you. But I can tell you the 1 inch is definitely not 1 inch. Now the mechanism, again, really wonderful, right? This whole system here, real easy for you to kind of move it into the different settings. So we like that. We love, and by the way, you know, they are in 1/2 inch increments is how it works with this specific mower. All right, so on Ego, we did put it on 1, okay? And listen, they're pretty true on this. You know, you got about 1/4 of an inch play here where the blade is, you know, just slightly above the deck. And if you measure this, you know, you're going to get, you know, about 1.5 inches. So, you know, they're 1.5 inches pretty much. Seems pretty good. And if we lift this all the way up to 7, you're going to get your 4. And let's see if that's off by much. 4. Yeah, it's a little higher than 4. It could actually be almost 4 1/4 from what I see here. All right, it's a little higher, maybe not 4 1/4, but yeah, a little shy of 4 1/4. So now the mechanism, as you can see here, is that one-hand height adjustment. And again, you just, you know, take this one and move it and change, you know, just kind of raises all of the wheels. It's a nice feature. Hey guys, if you're really enjoying this video, take a moment, give us a thumbs up. Brooklyn and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's look at the back wheels now. So these are 10-inch wheels and these are 9-inch wheels, okay? Now this is a plastic, but you know, this is a plastic wheel. It is solid. The drive system is built into it. And this is actually plastic, but it's actually got rubber. So the rubber actually does flex, as you can see that. And the grip pattern is pretty nice. So they both have a pretty good grip pattern. But yeah, this one's got a nicer grip pattern, but mainly it's rubber. And that flexibility could help you when you're mowing. Now when you look at the front wheels, you've got 7 inches here and you've got 8 inches here. Let's go ahead and start off with the Milwaukee. We got the two 12-amp batteries, right? 12-amp hour batteries. So yeah, we just open this up. You do have to hold it. It doesn't stay open. But we're going to put this in. Locks in place. You use the red clips to pull the battery out. Same thing here. Again, you have to have 2 batteries. Don't forget. You can't just use one, right? But pull the battery out. You just push the red in. It comes right out. All right, so we're in there. And let's go ahead and do that with the Ego. One thing I noticed was when these are fully charged batteries, and I'm pressing the battery meter, and it's not lighting up. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's something they're working on, but it doesn't light up. Now we're going to put the Ego battery in, and I was going to show you how that lights up so you could see. You know, again, we want to be as fair as possible. So Ego, press the button. You can see there all of them light up, and you get 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Now, when you're going to put the battery in, open this up. I like that the compartment stays open. Batteries are not light. Slide this in, push it in place. It locks. That's your release handle there. So pull it up, take your battery out. All right, now they do have some holes here in case any kind of moisture gets into this here. I'm assuming without the battery. So you see there, those are called drain holes. I want to take a look at the Milwaukee for a second and see if they have drain holes. I would think they would need to put that in there, you know. So let's take this out. And it looks like they do. It's got like one hole here and one hole in the corner. So that's okay. All right. Now let's see what these look like when you're behind the mower and you want to see how much battery you have. So one of the things that I think everyone needs to know is while you're mowing, right? You know, how much battery do you have left? I mean, you probably knew when you started that you started with a full charge, but it's really helpful. So Ego has, you know, this is clear, and you know, you've got the bright green LEDs on the battery. So let's check Ego out first. Now, it's a little sunny out, right? I don't know if you're going to see it, but I'll tell you if I can see it. So I'm going to press Sell Propel, the button itself. I'll tell you when I do it. And, you know, I'll just, you know, what I see. So if I press Sell Propel right now, the lights are actually on. I don't know if you can see that, and they'll go off, and they just went off. So I'm going to put them back on. And yeah, I think you can see it because looks like I can see it through the camera, you know. So that's helpful when you're mowing to know how many more bars you have left. And bars are important. One day you'll probably have percentages on the handle. That'll be really cool. Okay. Now let's check at the Milwaukee. Now the Milwaukee, I won't tell you where the battery lights are. Let's see if you can figure it out. But I'm going to go ahead and press Sell Propel. And the lights are on. Can you tell where they are? Well, if you can't, look at that. I could see these in bright sunlight. I could see these at any time. So these bright reds surrounded by a black trim are really nice, definitely nice to have. And so you're mowing, you can see where your battery is, which is very helpful. How would you like to recharge your batteries for free instead of it costing you money? Think about it. You take these chargers and you plug them into electricity in your home, right? Well, I want to just give you an option and let you know, like for folks that don't know, you can use a solar panel or two, and you can use a power station. So I've got two different power stations here. And I'm going to talk about watt hours, because watt hours is really the capacity of a battery, right? Here's an example. The Ego battery you see there is 560 watt hours, and the Milwaukee is 216 watt hours. See the size difference? Here's another one. The Delta, this is a Delta Max 2000. That's the model number. It has 2016 watt hours in the battery itself. This is the Delta Mini. It's lighter, right? It could be more portable for you. That has 882 watt hours. So let's give you some examples on these power stations and how many times they can charge these batteries. You ready? So the Delta Max, the big guy right here, can charge the Ego battery 3.5 times. The Delta Max can charge this single Milwaukee battery 9 times. That's pretty cool, right? Now, what if you want to get a smaller one, right? So if you get the Delta Mini, well, the Delta Mini can actually charge the Ego battery 1.5 times, and it can charge the Milwaukee battery 4 times. All right? Obviously, you need solar to recharge the power stations, and they become power banks, and then you plug your chargers into it and put your batteries on top. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll put some links in the description for some of this stuff, you know, if you're interested and you have questions, okay? So let's just check out the mulch plugs real quick. So on the Milwaukee, all you do, you just open up the back here, and your mulch plug has a handle, and it does lock in place, if you could see. So when you put it in, okay, you know, it's got these holders that hold it in place, and then this, just so you'll know, there's a hole there for a reason. Up here, there's actually another hole, and this actually connects to it and keeps it in place. Let's check out the Ego. So the Ego mulch plug, again, these both get held in by the door. Now the door on the Ego is a little stronger as far as the spring, I should say. It's definitely a little bit stronger. And I guess they did that to hold the mulch plug in place, because the mulch plug simply goes in this way. All right? And then once you close this, it stays in place. So here are the rear side discharge, and we'll start off with the Ego. Now the Ego, just so you'll know, shoots the grass to the right side, and the Milwaukee shoots it to the left side. Now let's go ahead and put it in. So you open this up, and you'll see here there's some little lines here on the bottom. They basically get aligned. If I could move out of the sun, they get aligned in these holes here. Okay, so all you do, put it in, it closes up in here, and then just like you saw Milwaukee, they have this little clip here that goes into this hole up here. So that'll hold it in place. As you can see, it stays within the body of the mower, and you now have rear side discharge. Now let's go ahead and put the Milwaukee one in. So the Milwaukee one has arrows that you'll see here, and arrows on top. See that? So this simply goes in here, and then you push it in. It lays down. Looks like it'll stay in place. And now you've got rear side discharge. And you could see these two. We'll try that out later. I'm not a big side discharge person, but we'll try that out later. Here they are in storage mode. As you can see, the Milwaukee's definitely a lot taller because the handle doesn't collapse. But, you know, very convenient, something you can't do with a gas mower. You don't have to worry about oil or gas. You just take these guys, you put them up like that, and you put them in the corner of your garage. You know, you can lay them on their side, whatever you like. But, yeah, they just lean on the back of the mower. This one's got rubber, plastic and rubber, and then this one's got metal. Okay. The rubber's helpful if you're putting it on a floor where you don't want to get it scratched. You know, metal's probably going to do that a little bit, but pretty simple, right? But a nice benefit of having a battery mower. I just measured these for you also. This is 37.5 inches in height, and this is 49 inches. All right, so about 12 inches more on the Milwaukee. You know, again, when you look at these guys, right, that chunk. Okay guys, let's go ahead and put on the bags. So we'll start with the Ego. And you know, the bag basically goes on these metal hooks here, okay? And it is metal catchers as well. So, and they did leave an opening so you could see how much grass you have. So keep that in mind. That is something that I don't see on the Milwaukee. But when we put this on, all we do is 1, 2, lay it down, and we're ready to rock and roll. Now let's go ahead and put the Milwaukee on. Now again, the Milwaukee, same thing. Metal, 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 right? But as you can see here, the bag's not really open that much. I'm wondering if you can see how much grass you have. So we put this on, we close it, and yeah, it's closed. And that might be good in a way, you know. To be honest with you, that might be good, because I have to say that when I bag with the Ego, I do actually see some grass coming out this way. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I thought it would be good. I'd be able to say, oh, that's my bag's full. I could see it before I take the bag out. But there's your bag. Hey guys, if you're really enjoying this video, take a moment, give us a thumbs up. Brooklyn and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to take some time now and go over handles, controls, and the motor. I want you to hear the motors on these guys and the RPMs. We'll talk about that. So let me start off with the Milwaukee, and I'm gonna actually sit down to give you a better view of the handle. As you can see here, look at this pattern, huh? This is a nice, comfortable pattern. Definitely some work they did. So I can tell you I really like it after using this for a little while now while we're doing the testing. I also like that this is recessed, so you know when you're going to, you know, obviously engage your blades, you know, this actually kind of sinks in for the most part. So like that design, definitely a big fan of that. All right, now when you're using self-propel on here, you know, you're basically going to use this side, or you could kind of do it this way and have a drink in your right hand, like some water or something like that. It's up to you on what your beverage choice is. But let's take a look at controls now. So this is your power button, all right? So, you know, obviously you hit the power button, pull this in, and you're ready to go. But let's look at some other controls. So you've got your headlights, the LEDs, which, you know, really nice. You need to make sure you see that part of the video. We did a test showing the Ego and, you know, this Milwaukee. This is the high lift button, which really is kind of like a turbo button. This thing goes at 2,800 RPM normally. But actually, if you hit this button, it'll go to 3,300 and stay there. Obviously, use a lot more battery, but if you've got to push through something, you know, the motor itself would actually do that, but the motor itself would probably do that, just so you'll know, but some people like that to have that option, so there it goes. And the motor, by the way, starts at 3,300 RPM immediately and then slows down to 2,800. So just so you'll know, it actually starts at its highest. It's pretty quick. Here is your self-propel button here. Now, this is not a button, it's kind of a roller. As you can see here, you can roll and adjust. Now, what I like is, as you can see, I'm moving lightly on the top. This thing is stiff, and that's a good thing. So that means it should stay in place. A nice mechanism. I feel it'll last a long time. But you can go from 0 all the way to 4 miles an hour, right? So you can go from the turtle to the rabbit. All right, so that's pretty cool. So I like that. And why don't we start the motor so you could actually hear how it sounds. And you'll hear it start up higher and then go down, okay? So I'm up here, and I'm going to just hit the button. So I don't know if you heard that. So it did start up higher and then go down. See, I don't know if you heard that. So we're going to turn it back on, and now we're going to hit the high lift button so you can hear that. Pretty cool, huh? Let's take a moment now and check out the Ego Select Cut XP. So first, as you look at the handle, they did design some comfort. So you've got, you know, kind of this is obviously a hard plastic, but this seems to be a little raised and seems to add a little more comfort if you're going to put your hands here and use your thumbs. Some people mow here if you're doing self-propel, because you can then push these in, which is nice. And the one thing about the self-propel is it does go up to 3.1 miles an hour. So it's not as fast as the Milwaukee, but and you'll see that when we show you self-propel. But as you can hear the sounds. So obviously down is off, and then up all the way would be 3.1 miles an hour, and in between. Okay, so that's nice. Here's your power button. We'll show you how to turn it on in a minute and let you listen to the motor. LED light switches here, and never really been a big fan of these, to be honest with you. It's supposed to be like kind of a battery gauge, you know, turning different colors. But I don't always see that working, and so I don't really use it. I rely on the battery meter in the front there, so I can see that. So let's turn on the motor. Now the motor on here, again, you know, this is going to go up to, no load is 2,800 RPMs on a no load situation. I've reached out to Ego to find out, you know, the load. You know, how high of an RPM does this go up to? Because obviously the Milwaukee goes up to 3,300 and has the button, which is cool. So again, when I find out how high, I will put it right here. All right, so besides the 2,800 RPM, what is the maximum RPM under a load? All right, let's go ahead and listen to the motor. So push it in. So you can see it doesn't start up immediately at the highest RPM, which we don't know that. We'll find out because it wasn't in the manual. But let's listen to both of them for a moment. So, Ego. Milwaukee. Ego. Milwaukee. All right, I hope that was helpful, guys. We got a bird fight over here. Two birds are fighting while I'm making a video. We got a showdown in the yard. All right, we're recording handle height just so you could see. Now, my fiance won't be on camera, but she has to stretch her arms out all the way. She's 5 feet tall. It is on the highest setting for both of them. Okay, slide over to the other one, honey. All right, and yeah, so you could see, you know, just using the fence also. Using the fence also, you can see the height there. All right, we're going to drop it one more now. There it is again on the highest setting. And, you know, look, you've got the Milwaukee here, right? And the Ego's got, you know, you could hold up top, you could hold up side. So it really, you know, matters, you know, they're very similar. The design's different. All right, this is the highest setting. All right, we are on the second setting. As you can see, her hands are just a little bit down now. They weren't as straight as they were before. This is the middle setting. You could use the fence as a guideline also. Go ahead and move over, honey, to the other one. So she's moving over to the other one. You know, no big deal. It's really hard to see, but we're going to go to the bottom setting, the lowest one. It'll probably be the most comfortable for her. Again, there it goes. They're both in the middle setting, and just a different design on the handle. All right, well, they're on the lowest setting now, and that probably looks like one of the better ones for her. You know, when you look at, you know, just the arm position for her. All right, go to the other one, honey. All right, so yeah, it's not bad. I'll come close now and do a close-up, but it's nice that they both have 3 height settings. And using a fence as a guideline, I mean, really, this setting is no good for me. I'm 6'2". I'd use the middle on the Ego. I'd probably have to use the high on the Milwaukee because of the design of the handle. All right, we are set at the slowest speed on the dial for the Ego. So let's see how fast that is. And as you can see, it's nice and slow. It could be very comfortable for someone that's older or someone that's injured that still wants to mow the lawn and get a little exercise. This is the Ego at 4 miles an hour. Let's check this out. Definitely pretty fast. Here's the Milwaukee at its slowest speed. Let's check this out. Still pretty comfortable. All right, Milwaukee is 4 miles an hour also, so let's see how fast this goes. Wow, that was pretty quick. I think it might have been a little quicker than the Ego. All right, we've got a nice section here of high grass, about 7 inches, sometimes 8, sometimes 6, but I got a ruler here, and we're going to mulch at 2.5 inches setting on the mower. All right, but I mean, if you could see that, right, we are around the 7-inch mark on these on some of these blades. So let's see how that goes. So in the settings here, you've got 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4 inches. So we're on 2.5. All right, let's see what we do here. And we're going to also use the high lift button, by the way. We're going to see if we, how it looks. Actually, I got to push the button in. Okay, we made it through. We used the high lift button, by the way. One thing I saw, obviously you're cutting higher grass, you're going to have mulch on the lawn, right? This is what this is going to do. So it's mulching and leaving it on the lawn. Now you don't normally mulch that many inches of grass, right? We were talking almost 4 inches we were cutting off. But we wanted to see if the torque on the mower would have stalled, and it didn't, right? So it's not about the cut. In this case, it's more about the motor. And yeah, that's 3,300 RPMs. Now, I don't know the RPMs for the Ego. I'm going to see if I can get that. But no issues. No issues. All right. We did get some, mulch coming out of the back. I don't know. I did notice some coming out. But, I like to keep an eye on things like that. But that's a lot of grass. It's a lot of power. So I'm not even sure if there's any way around that. Let's do the Ego right next door. Okay, we're going to bring it down to 4, which is 2.5 on the Ego. All right, so it's on 4. Let's get up here and let's see what this does. Now, we don't have a turbo button, right? But let's see what this does. Okay, so we had leakage on that one too, and I think it's just because there's so much grass and that motor is just trying to get it from under the deck and do something with it, right? Because we're not bagging it, because if you were bagging it, it would just go right in the bag. So let's take a step back now and take a look and see who did a better job of mulching. It's interesting, I'll be honest with you, but it looks like Milwaukee left more clumps than Ego did. I mean, guys, proof is in the pudding. On the right is Milwaukee. On the left is Ego. I'll zoom in soon, but I'm going to go ahead and walk this. You probably see what I see, right? Definitely a lot more clumps. Okay. And the Ego has leakage. I see it. Again, I guess when you've got 4 inches of grass being cut off, you're going to get some kind of leakage. So, yeah. You know what? I messed up. And I didn't put the mulch plug on. So we're going to redo this test. So guys, you saw we messed up, right? So we're going to redo the test. We got the mulch plug in here. We forgot to put the mulch plug in. But look at the mess. Now, it's amazing because without a mulch plug, I mean, it's still a lot cleaner. I don't know. And without a mulch plug, now look at the grass it held in. And then when I opened the back, I saw all that grass. So let's go ahead and do this and see. Okay, yeah, you could hear it, right? It's like, you know, it's working. That engine is working. Well, let's go ahead now and take a look with the mulch plug in. Yeah, I mean, it definitely was releasing some more mulch. And it kind of almost makes it equal. So the middle you can ignore, right? I mean, we mulched, but we didn't really put it back on the lawn. So you got Milwaukee and Ego. And you could see here, it's pretty fair. It's pretty fair that I've got enough clumping going on in the lawn to make it a pretty equal. You know, both motors did very well pushing through on 4 inches of grass, right? Again, so I didn't see anything. I don't see, you know, and then let's check for leakage too. But guys, other than this middle lane, we mess up, we have to own it, right? But now look at that though, we didn't get a lot of leakage. So the mulch plug did better on the Ego than it did on the Milwaukee. So the Milwaukee leaked a little bit. We're going to bag now, just a small demonstration of bagging, but we're also going to see how well the mower actually cleans the lawn. And again, nice open space here, right? Grab your bag, put it in, no issues. I'm not even, if I don't put it on right, but easy, easy. We're going to leave the same setting. What we're going to do now is we're going to just bag straight through, and we're going to grab this strip also. We're going to do the same thing with the Ego. We just want to see how clean this, you know, how good the suction is and things like that. Now we're going to do a regular, we're not going to do a high lift. I want to make sure the high lift is off. Push the button. Mulch plug is out, guys, I promise. So you heard the motor rev up when it needed to, okay, and that's really clean, by the way. You know, again, don't worry about this section, but that's really clean. That did a nice job of sucking it up and bagging it. And we're going to compare clippings, by the way, like we always do on the channel. But look how clean, right? Look how clean this is, right? Pretty clean. Very few stragglers. So good power. Hey guys, if you're really enjoying this video, take a moment, give us a thumbs up. Brooklyn and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. There's Brooklyn, and we've got both mulch plugs down there. We're going to grab the Ego bag now, and we're going to do this really close to where we did the Milwaukee, kind of like a real side-by-side. All right, yeah, and you could see we're mowing grass. So let me open this up. Now, the bar, although beneficial for stability, you know, doesn't make it that easy for you to put the bagger in. It fits though, you know, and you do get that little spot to see if your bag's full. Let's take a look while we're bagging and also see if we get any leakage on the top of the bag. So as you can see here, I'm going to mow this strip and this dirt into the bag, and we'll come right next to the Milwaukee. Now, not a lot of strain. I don't know if you heard, the motor didn't really rev up too high, okay? But very nice job. You know, these mowers are so alike. Again, if I go all the way to the front and walk backwards, you've got minimal stragglers for both these guys. But look at that, right? This section, right? Look at that. I mean, minimal stragglers. Nothing I could even point out and be like, oh my God, it missed. There's a mohawk. You know, I call a mohawk, right? So you could see here, look at this. Clean. Bag's nice. Let's take a look at some clippings now and see what that looks like. But so far, pretty even race. While we're going to take the bags out, why don't we show you how the handle works, because we didn't do that earlier, okay? Again, you saw the height settings, but we really didn't zoom into the mechanism. So when we drop this for a second, and we'll drop both, this is a quarter turn pin, which is nice. It's very comfortable. They've got good grip on it as well, but we drop, and you see the 3 holes, 1, 2, 3 settings, okay? So when you want to lay your handle down, you know, this handle will lay all the way down, and if I could show you, is a lock place here with a little flat, you know, place for the handle to sit on, so it doesn't keep going down. So it grabs the handle, and you just lock that in there. Do the same here, and now you can lift the mower up, you can store it. Let me go ahead and empty the bag. Well, actually, let me do the Eagle handle. So the Eagle handle has a bar on the side, so that's what they do. And you know, you can actually close the handle and make it smaller to fit into the body of the mower. So when the handle is closed, by the way, you can't use the mower. The motor won't start. So when you lock these pins, you can't use, people will be like, oh, I'd love to use the mower like that, but you can't, all right? And you push this in one time. There's a middle position, right? You know, I use that a lot to remove the bagger. And then if there's another position that locks it in place that way, all right? So let me grab the Ego bag, and you can see here, we've got a little bit, and then the rest is inside. So let's move that over to the wall. Always a problem with a dog and grass. So let's grab the Milwaukee. All right. So here we are. We got 2 piles. Milwaukee looks a little bigger, but that's real hard to tell. All right. Now, having a dual blade mower can help with size of mulch versus a single blade. That could be why that's smaller. But let's grab a bunch, and let's just grab a bunch from the side here and just take a look at it for a minute. All right. So yeah, I mean, that's our longest blade side. Oh, there's another one there. So it did a good job. This is, you know, it's a little bigger than what you want to do when you want to leave on the lawn. But again, we just cut that little strip. That was, you know, another 4 inches. You don't want to have 4 inches of grass laying on your lawn. It'll just choke your lawn. Let's take a look at the Milwaukee. All right. You know, got a good size one. You know, look at that. That's the Milwaukee. Excuse me. That's the Ego. I mean, you know, pretty same, right? You know, you look at the height of these guys, and you know, it's not too bad. And you look at the height of this, and it's not too bad. And again, really another even, you know, even thing going on here. All right, you know what time it is. We've got the side discharge in both of these, and what's cool is the Milwaukee will shoot out to the left, and as you can see, it stays within the body of the mower, so you can get into tight places if you actually side discharge. Same thing here with the Ego, right? It just, you know, stays within the body of the mower, and that's the wheel, by the way, with all that grass on it. So we've got about 4 inches of grass here, and we're going to cut off about 1.5 inches. All right, so 4 inches, we're going to cut off about 1.5 inches, and yeah, we've got some laying down and all that, but we're going to cut off 1.5 inches because we are set on the mowers at 2.5 inches, and Brooklyn's watching to make sure I do it right? We'll start off with the Milwaukee. All right, and we're going to just push. We don't really do self-propel too much. So no high lift mode, nothing. You know, grass is not that high. So push it in. And what we want to do is watch that. You know, I got to tell you, I like the way it shot it out. Now, again, it's not cutting a lot of grass, because if it was, it would be clumpy. But look at that, you know, nice, clean, and that grass was just flying out with no issue. I was never really a big fan of side discharge with Ego, but we're going to try it. I don't side discharge. I'm just not a side discharge person, I should say. But if you look at this is clean. We just cut it down to 2.5 inches. Nice and clean, no clumps. I don't see stragglers. It did the job. Look, it did the job. She's locked in place. Let's go. Okay, similar results. Well, actually, you know, I'm bending and mowing at the same time, but, you know, I was going about the same speed. Now, if I step back here, it was all right, right? It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good, right? That's Milwaukee Eagle, right? Looks pretty good. And then I started getting some clumping, you know, on, you know, instead of it being thrown out, you know. So same thing, clumping, and then some more clumping. Now, again, you know, I'm not a big fan of side discharge. But there you go. I think Milwaukee did a better job. And you know what? Milwaukee has a longer piece. You know what I mean? Milwaukee's got a different piece. It's a little longer. Maybe that's helping, because this one's a little shorter. So, you know, the channel, we're all about little things. And I found as I was moving the M18 that, I want you to see it. It's hard to tell, but the mower shifts on the axle while the wheels stay in place. So you see this here? I'm going to try to zoom in. I don't know if that's going to help. So you see that? So, you know, I was noticing that. You hear that banging? Now, the Eagle mower doesn't do that. You know, it of course has a plasticky sound, but it does not do that. So, whatever. Just thought I'd share that with you. All right, so now I'm going to take this section of my lawn, and half of it I'm going to cut with the Milwaukee, and the other half I will cut with the Ego, and then we'll take a look, you know, just to see, you know, mulching, and we're still in the same setting, you know, cutting at 2.5 inches. Now, what do we have as far as height? Let's take a look on the grass here, and yeah, a little over 4 inches. A little over 4 inches of grass. So we'll cut that. You know, we're taking 1.5 inches off. We're mulching. We'll see how that comes out. There's the battery meter. Okay, so let's take a look at these 3 rows that I just did. And you know, we're going to have some mulch, and it's 1.5 inches. So, you know, we got 1, 2, 3. All right. And of course, we've got mulch. We've got some clump also. I'm going to go ahead and do Ego, and then we'll compare. So I'm doing 3 sections here, and then I'll do a 3 section for Ego. And then we'll take a look. Okay, I left a strip in the middle, you know, as a divider. But, all right, so here's our divider. Okay, this is our divider right here. Okay, so as we walk down the valley of grass, I can tell you if I'm going to walk on Milwaukee side first. This is Milwaukee. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3. So as you can see here, definitely some clumping, you know, some stragglers. All right, you know, you see the bigger ones, see the ones in the corner. All right. You know, when you stop, you get a little bunch up there, okay? Let's take a look at Ego. And then I'll do a little close-up if you want. So here's Ego's 3. Again, the divider. And then 1, 2, 3 for Ego. Well, I'll tell you, definitely did a better job of mulching, and I think it's the twin blade, right? The twin blade, you know, definitely did a better job of mulching, you know, because we don't have clumps, you know. So taking 4 inches of grass down to 2.5, Ego did better. Now I'll do a quick close-up so you can see what I see, and you probably see it, but so if I look at Milwaukee, I'll point out anything, you know, so, you know, some clumping, you know, a lot of little stragglers, you know, not really a straggler, but more just mulch laying on the lawn, mulch there, and then you got mulch here. And you got mulch there. You know, those are like clumps more than mulch. And then at the end here, when we turned off the mower, we've got more, right? Now let's look at Ego real quick. All right, Ego right in here. And, you know, maybe a little bit here. But pretty clean. I mean, you know, tiny mulch, but no clumps. I mean, I'm not stopping until I see something, but I kind of saw that as I was mowing, and it did a better job. It's got 1 straggler here. Is that a straggler? Yeah, that's 1 straggler, okay. But overall, you know, a little bit of clump, just a little bit. But overall, guys, you look at the big picture here, you know, and Ego definitely did better here on just a regular mulch cut, which is what we do most of the time, right? Well, you know, we get to the grass in time before, you know, we get home from work. So definitely Ego on this one. So now let's talk about the LED lights, and we're going to show you a demo in a little while, but I believe Milwaukee will win this one, and I haven't even tried it. So Ego's got 2 sets of lights, right? One here, and they both have 3 LEDs in them, so that's 6 lights. Well, move over for a second, Ego, because Milwaukee has 12 lights. So they have 4 lights with 12 LEDs. And look at this, they angle the LEDs. So this is actually angled out. This is actually angled in, and this is actually angled straight. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you got it on the side. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, this guy's probably going to be the winner if you need to mow when it gets a little dark. Let's check that out. All right, we're in the backyard. I am about 15 feet away from the mowers. And we're going to go ahead and start with the Eagle lights. We're going to turn those on so you can see how bright they are from this distance. So let's turn those on, the Eagle lights. All right, so that's the Eagle lights. All right, now we're going to go ahead and turn off the Eagle lights. And we're going to turn on the Milwaukee now, just so you can see the difference from at least this far. Now you can see, okay. All right, there they go. So you can see that, turn on the Eagle ones too now. Leave them both on. So they look pretty similar, right? Now let me come over and show you. So, you know, initially they look pretty similar, but look at the sides of the Milwaukee, right? So the sides of the Eagle, well, yeah, you don't have no lights, makes sense. But look at the sides of the Milwaukee. Now, I'm going to take the Eagle and just move it for a little bit so you can see what I see while I'm mowing, all right? So, you know, here I go, I mow. It's going to show the immediate area. It does a great job, right? You know, you can see here, it's pretty good, all right? And what I will do now is I'll turn this off, and we'll come back with the Milwaukee right now. Let me grab the Milwaukee, and they turn off after a while, but I'm going to turn them back on. Okay, so now you could see that I see the left and the right on the side also. So again, good overall. You know, just want to show you distance-wise, but also just the immediate area, right? So pretty nice, pretty nice. Now, as far as distance, I usually go in this corner to look at distance to see if the trees. You see the trees? If you could see the trees, and the lights are doing a good job. So I'm going to put that there, turn it off for a second, bring the Eagle nearby, and just look at that Eagle real quick and compare. And that's it, real quick. But some people want to know. So let's turn on the Eagle. And you can see the Eagle does a pretty good job of lighting up the area. Okay. I'm going to turn these off and slide over to the right and do the Milwaukee. And again, Milwaukee does a really good job, except now you have these side lights, right? So you've got the light on the side as well. So I think pretty fair. I'm going to turn the Eagles on at the same time now. Pretty fair, you know? I mean, it lights up pretty nice. If I leave the Eagles on, actually let me turn the Eagle off. Turn these guys, go back to the Eagle. You know, I mean, I don't know if the Eagle throws a little further in the front. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at that. It's hard to tell. I think they both do a good job. And Milwaukee obviously has the surrounding area where you can see more in the surrounding area versus just the front for the Eagle. All right, so it's time to go over some pros and some cons. We're going to start off with the cons, okay? We'll start off with the Eagle cons. So I always say this too, by the way, the batteries are expensive, right? I mean, seriously, but what are you going to do? You know, you're saving on gas, but then, you know, people fight about gas mowers and things like that. The wheels are smaller, just a little smaller, okay? You know, the larger wheels make the unit roll a little bit nicer. Look at that. That's already rolling away. The other thing that is a part of the design, which I just don't like, is, again, self-propel is off, and you go to pull the mower back, and it engages. It just happens way too often. Maybe they'll do something about that, because I don't get that with Greenworks. I don't get that with Milwaukee. I don't get that, with Cobalt. I don't get that with Ryobi. So, I'd like to see that go away. Now, blade-wise, you got a 20-inch blade here. You got a 21-inch blade there. So, to me, that's kind of a con. What cons do I have on Milwaukee? So, it's heavier, right? You're talking 62 pounds versus 85. 23 pounds heavier. You got a steel deck. Definitely going to be heavier. Batteries are expensive. 12 amp hour battery, $250. Again, nothing you can do about that. Now, the warranty on the battery and the mower on this guy is 3 years. Ego is 5. So that to me is a con, when you're doing a comparison. Here's a single blade mower versus a dual blade. So that would be a con, but it still did a decent job. High lift blade isn't included. It's optional. You can buy that for $29. Okay, Ego gives you 3 different blades to choose from. Again, this guy cost more. It's considered kind of an entry-level commercial mower for the outskirts of properties, and then they go on their ride mowers, right? The fuel gauge on the batteries didn't work. You saw when I was hitting the button, I'm like, why do you have 4 gauges on the battery, and when you press it, it doesn't work? So that's my cons. Let's talk about the pros. All right, we'll start off with Milwaukee. So 21-inch blade, a little bit more, you can cut just a little more of your lawn, just 1 inch. I like the high lift button, which is kind of like a turbo, right? You can go from 2,800 RPM to 3,300, so it's pretty nice. Bigger wheels, definitely rolls a little bit smoother, a little nicer. I like that. The battery meter, I like the battery meter on the back of the mower. You can see that. That red, you can see that. So I like that. It offers a slightly lower cut. Okay, probably about a 1/2 inch, to be honest with you. Maybe even a 1/4 inch, because the measurements weren't perfect. You saw that. We found it to be more around 1.25 inches instead of an inch, because Ego starts at 1.5 inch. Okay. Faster charger is included. I like that. You get the dual rapid charger. All right. I do like the handle on this guy. The handle is comfortable. It's grippy. So I didn't have any problems with that. I found a lot of comfortable. It's really comfortable. And then the rear side discharge definitely worked better on this mower than it did on the Ego. So now what about the pros for Ego? The warranty, right? So you get a 5-year on the mower and a 5-year on the battery. You have to register the battery, though. Some people, if you don't register your battery, you're not going to get the 5-year. But you're getting 5 on both if you register, which is nice. Now, here you're getting a dual blade system. We found mulching to be better here, which was nice. The faster charger is also included. So, it's a 700-watt charger. I don't know if I mentioned this on the Milwaukee, but the lights, I love the lights, by the way. I had to go back to the mower. I forgot that. So I like having the side and the front lights. They definitely did a better job. Okay. Ego, arc lithium technology and the keep cool technology on their batteries, and the way the battery will discharge itself if you leave it laying around. I like that. That's a smart battery. That's pretty cool. The charger is also smart, meaning you can have it connected to Wi-Fi and you can see, it charging, and you can have it alert you when it hits 75%. So I like that. It is lighter, 62 pounds versus 85. And I find the handle easier to close here, right? On this guy, you have to go over to both sides and flip the quarter, pin switch. Here, you've got the one handle, and it's easier to do. So that's my cons and my pros, guys. All right. Many of you probably want to know this, but as we used both these mowers, and obviously we've used the Ego a lot longer than the Milwaukee, but we've given the Milwaukee enough time, and we've averaged around 53 minutes mowing our yard, medium grass, nothing too hard, just staying on top, doing a lot of mulching. We do the front and the back, so we've got about 5,000 square feet. And yeah, we have about 53 minutes on the batteries before we have to recharge. On the Ego, about 67 minutes on that 10 amp hour battery. Obviously, because it's a larger capacity, Ego states 75. We always end up around 67, 68. So we hope this information is helpful. So, very fun to do. Head-to-heads are really fun. This is a beast. It's a really nice machine. They're both very similar. I didn't really see a difference between 8.3 foot-pounds of torque and 10 foot-pounds of torque. I really didn't see that. The Ego did a little better on the mulching. Milwaukee, nice side, rear side discharge. I like the battery meter on this guy. The handle's actually a little nice. They're both good handles. But really good, review. I hope you like it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Really, it helps the channel. People discount how much it helps the channel. So hit that like. Share our video. Post it to your chat rooms. We'll continue to do it. But we hope you enjoyed it. And thank you so much. We'll leave some specs towards the end of the video. All right, we've got 2 pages of specifications. We'll leave this here. You can hit pause if you want to review them, but there are 2 pages, so check them out. We sure hope these are helpful. And don't forget, give us a thumbs up. Thank you. Hey guys, take a moment and give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. As you can see, Brooklyn, she's waving her tail for you. Take a moment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell and you'll get notified of new videos we come out with. Also, follow us and contact us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.